I told you I was sick. Okay. Today, I'm in my finest dirndl, albeit without the puffy white shirt or the boobies, because today I'm in a castle. Not just any castle, but an old castle, and a big castle. A castle that was the fortress of knights, that was the prison of pirates, a castle that's seen bombardment, a castle that's now filled with a whole bunch of creatures. I feel like a Disney princess here. So come with me as we explore the castle of St. Peter, the liberator of the Order of the Knights of the Hospital of St. John of Rhodes, also known as Bodrum Castle. Bodrum Castle is located in the southwest of Turkey, overlooking the Aegean Sea. It sits in the popular port town of Bodrum, well known for its beautiful beaches and youthful English tourists. But you know what it's not well known for? It's nightlife. No, everyone knows about that nightlife. I'm talking about nightlife. The Knights Hospitalier, to be exact. The very knights that built this castle. Construction began in 1404 when the Knights Hospitalier, also known as the Knights of St. John, arrived in Bodrum. After being chased out of Jerusalem by the dominating Ottomans, the Knights established a presence across the Mediterranean on islands such as Cyprus and Rhodes. And eventually, they landed right here in Bodrum, at that time known as Zephyria. And in ancient times, this was the carrion land of Halicarnassus, the home of the Mausoleum of Halicarnassus, one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world. In fact, this castle was built using pieces of the mausoleum for its walls and foundations, apparently a squared green volcanic stone that I may or may not have found inside. Following a 6-month siege of their headquarters on the island of Rhodes by Sultan Suleiman the Magnificent, the knights capitulated. The Knights Hospitalier departed from Bodrum as part of the terms of their surrender, leaving the castle to be redecorated by the Ottomans. Now, it houses the Museum of Underwater Archaeology, plenty of artifacts, a zoo's worth of animals, a couple of dead bodies, and plenty to explore. Our first stop is the amphorae exhibit. So in the 9th century, in present-day Bodrum, Turkey, a small Byzantine ship shipwrecked, and on it were 974 amphorae, these things. Out of the 974 amphorae, 928 contained wine. And the wine sellers would often come to port and sell their wine and then take the jars and reuse them. They wouldn't give the jars containing the wine to the people buying the wine. They would deliver the wine and then take the jars back and reuse them. That's why this many were found on the ship at Bodrum. A word to the wise, come to Bodrum Castle on a Friday, the first Friday of Ramadan, because there's nobody here. It's awesome. Okay, there were some people here, meandering around the lower courtyard of the castle, but I wasn't interested in the living. I was interested in the dead. I just didn't know it yet. And now we're standing in the chapel built by the Knights of St. John. And of course, when the Ottomans took over, it was converted into a mosque and they added a minaret to the side of it. Nobody knows that you can come in this place, apparently, so I'm the only one here. This was the altar, I guess. There are some slots here for putting in candles and putting pictures of saints. If the knights were Orthodox, were they Catholic? I don't know. Would they have had pictures of saints? They weren't Protestant. No, Protestantism hadn't happened yet. Ooh, big brain. So that means that they probably venerated saints. Wow, we got a half dome shape here. There's a little porthole at the top. Oh, it's beautiful. It's like a stained glass porthole at the top. And oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god, that's a body. So this was a tomb, I guess. This is the crypt. This is the crypt of the chapel. I literally walked over this and did not see it. Sometimes I'm impressed by my own ignorance. There's a placard over here that's talking about how the minaret that the Ottomans built was bombarded in the First World War. And, you know, that's interesting and all. But there's like a body in the ground. If there was a body in the ground here, I would put like a poster outside that says like, hey, there's a literal skeleton in the ground. Why are there no signs? Okay, there is a sign. Along the north side of the excavation pit, 3 tombs were uncovered. In tomb 1, 12 adults were stacked one on top of each other in the plastered chamber, as well as several infants. All of the dead seem to have been originally buried with their heads to the west and their arms crossed over their abdomens. With their heads to the west? Why? To face away from Mecca? I don't know. So these white circular pillars are actually altars. They were used in ancient Caria. A family would come. They would go to the cemetery on significant days, like the anniversary of a death or on your loved one's birthday. And on top of the altar, they would sacrifice an animal and burn incense, and they would stand around in a circle and probably sing songs or reflect or chant. And then they would take the ash from the incense, mix it with water, and then sprinkle the water over the graves. And to them it symbolized like it was good vibes. To them it was a way of saying, we hope that you rest peacefully in the afterlife. Thank God I read ancient Greek. Right here it says, I told you I was sick, tell that, and tell the old broad to leave me alone in the afterlife. On display in the Yasa'ada exhibit are artifacts from 3 shipwrecks that have all occurred off the island of Yasa'ada, separated by centuries, but all having met the same fate. When the Roman ship crashed in the 5th century, it left behind one of the largest bronze steel yards in the ancient world, a balance used for weighing goods. In the wreckage of the 7th century Byzantine ship, many artifacts were discovered, including kitchen supplies, amphorae carrying wine and oil, and a bronze censer used for burning incense in Christian ceremonies. The place where these shipwrecks happened is a place called Türkiye, and there are some ruins there that I know of on a hill that are pretty beautiful, but I wanted to go over there and check it out. And now that I know that it's a place for shipwrecking points, I might just go over there and post up and see if I can get some action. Almost all of the rooms in the castle are used to exhibit artifacts from shipwrecks that have been discovered along the Turkish coast. Among them is the Sarche Liman shipwreck, a Byzantine ship which wrecked in 1025 AD and is now exhibited in the Museum of Underwater Archaeology, almost in its entirety. The ship contained over 3 tons of glassware from Syria, which was the center of Islamic glassmaking during the medieval ages, as well as Byzantine coins and tools like this harpoon. Another unbelievable exhibit is that of the Uluburun wreck, a late Bronze Age ship which wrecked in 1300 BC, over 3,000 years ago, off the coast of modern-day Kaş. It is one of the oldest and richest wrecks ever discovered, with ostrich eggs, Egyptian gold jewelry, hippopotamus teeth, duck-shaped ivory cosmetic boxes, and even a ram's head drinking cup amongst its cargo. Imagine being a sailor on that ship, at sea for weeks, hauling a floating treasure chest, a symbol of the vast trade networks that connected Egypt, the Levant, Mycenaean Greece, Anatolia, and Cyprus, when something goes terribly wrong. A storm, a hidden reef, pirates, and the deck tilts, the cargo shifts, the massive copper ingots slide, water rushes in, and the priceless haul meant for kings and elites is dragged down into the darkness of the deep. In the castle, there are 4 towers. There's the Spanish tower, the English tower, the German tower, and the French tower. Right now, I'm in the English tower. The English tower has an exhibition for the Knights of St. John, the order that built this castle. You can see all over the castle. There are coats of arms for England, for Portugal, for Spain, for France, for all of these places. They had like 100 good years of this place. This is awesome though. There's like writing all over the walls. There's like writings, there's pictures, and the views here are like spectacular. People are just coming in here and like taking pictures. They don't read anything. They come in here, they come to one of these cubbies in the wall and they sit down and they take a picture and then they leave. Mausoleum of Halicarnassus was right over there. Okay, this place was actually pretty awesome. Bodrum actually doesn't have there's not a lot of nice places to come for some peace and quiet. It's like heaven here. It's so quiet. There's nobody here. There's like animals frolicking all over the place. This day has been filled with history and whimsy, and I'm loving it. So thanks for tuning in, and see you later.